Let's as always start with the progress of Tesla Gigafactory construction at Giga Berlin and at Giga Shanghai. Regarding Giga Berlin, Tesla apparently is planning to scale down the factory. Why? What the hell is going on there? Oh, and Elon in Tulsa on the weekend? And of course we also have to talk about Tesla's Q2 delivery numbers. They just crushed it with the Q2 deliveries, having the stock make new all-time highs and prompting Elon to make some quite funny tweets.
And if you want to lose some money, you can now order the Nikola Badger pickup truck for a deposit of only $5,000. Then we also want to talk about Lucid Air's stellar aerodynamic drag value, about Byton really pulling a Faraday future on us. And of course, we also have to give you the latest updates on air taxis and hyperloop. And this week, we even have news on air taxi and hyperloop from Elon himself. Highly exciting stuff, so stay tuned.
Progress at Giga Berlin is insanely fast, so we can see that after the concrete foundation now is finished, steel pillars of the factory structure itself are starting to rise. This is probably the fastest anything has been built in Germany since World War II. It's quite hilarious that this will complete faster than the infamous new Berlin airport, which started construction way back in 2006. Elon shows that if there is a will, there is a way, proving that with the right mindset, things can also go fast even in Germany. Now, comparing the current factory status to Giga Shanghai's construction last year, we see that Giga Berlin is now where Giga Shanghai was in March 2019. Therefore, if progress is similarly fast, and we think it will, we should see the first Model Ys rolling off the assembly line in March or latest April 2021. However, reports have now surfaced that Giga Berlin will not expand anymore to its final size, which would have also foreseen on-site battery construction.
That means that Giga Berlin won't expand to the final configuration, as seen on this illustration here, but will remain in the Phase 1 configuration, producing only 100,000 cars per year. In its final configuration, Giga Berlin would have produced 500,000 cars per year. Now, what are the reasons behind this dramatic change? We can only speculate that it might have something to do with a second Gigafactory in Europe, with rumors saying that the UK might be the location for the second Gigafactory in Europe. Maybe Tesla wants first to secure the second Giga Europe before expanding Giga Berlin at some point later on. But of course, it could also have been due to risk management, because believe it or not, Tesla still doesn't have an official permit to build the factory in Germany. So Tesla is currently building Giga Berlin at its own risk. Hey, you didn't believe that the bureaucracy in Germany would be so fast, did you? Moreover, the shrinking of Giga Berlin could also be due to the factory's water needs, which is too high for many residents who fear that they would die of thirst if Giga Berlin should produce 500,000 cars per year. So whatever the real reason behind Giga Berlin's downsizing is, we believe this is a well thought out and strategical move from Tesla. And Elon finally visited Tulsa last weekend because he was just overwhelmed by the amount of support there for a Tesla Gigafactory, as he stated on Twitter. He was there, but we don't know the result yet of this visit.
It really now seems to be a head-to-head race between Austin and Tulsa. Tulsa, here, are you happy now? Tulsa! And according to some rumors, the decision will be made still this month. Giga Shanghai, meanwhile, is still progressing as usual at very high speed, with the China-built Model Y aimed for production there still this year. Now imagine the China-built Model Y hitting the market. This will be a real cash cow for Tesla. Even now, China proved to be a lifesaver during the corona pandemic, but with the Model Y, we expect at least 200,000 cars to be sold in China alone in 2021. Oh, and now Cybertruck reservations have opened up in China. This is highly interesting. We are really curious about the potential of Cybertruck in China and how many Chinese people will actually want to order a Cybertruck. We have the strange feeling that it will be more than expected. And now finally about the Q2 delivery numbers. Despite the pandemic and the total shutdown of the Fremont factory, Tesla sold a staggering 90,700 cars in the second quarter this year, down only 5% from last year's second quarter. Compare that to GM, which is down 34%, Toyota, which is down 35%, and Fiat Chrysler, which is down 39%. And you realize that Tesla is simply defying a global pandemic and a global market meltdown of epic proportions.
This of course had the Tesla stock surge way over $1,000 now. And the funny thing is, we posted this chart here on TradingView, link in the video description, quite accurately predicting the timing and height of the current Tesla bull run. And of course, Elon is in a very good mood because of this, and is trolling the SEC and Tesla shorters on Twitter. For example, this one here, where he labels the SEC as short sellers enrichment commission, a labeling which is not entirely wrong in our opinion, since the SEC really turned a very blind eye towards the big oil sponsored anti-Tesla media FAT campaigns last year, which had the Tesla stock dumped to lows of around only $170. We talked a lot about the Tesla FAT media narrative in our videos from that time. For example, in this one here, the audio quality of our old videos was not so good yet, but we explain in detail how media manipulation works. So taking everything into account, we are totally not surprised by the current Tesla stock rally. Anyways, Elon is having fun on Twitter, and some people think it's dangerous, like Rose Gerber. But you can certainly imagine how satisfying it must be for Elon to be finally winning over big oil and legacy automakers, after them having tried to destroy Tesla with all sorts of means for the last 10 years, and now finally failing. Elon has earned to troll all those a-holes, in our opinion.
Another funny thing besides the humorous Elon tweets is the Nikola Badger. You can now finally order this cool electric pickup truck for only a deposit of $5,000. Wow, what a bargain! Only $5,000! And what is so cool about this pickup truck? Well, maybe the fact that no prototype of any sort exists yet, only renderings. That's right, you can spend a nice $5,000 on a vaporware product, a product that does not even exist in form of a prototype yet, only in renderings. The made-up stats sure sound impressive though, with 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds and a range of 600 miles for the hydrogen version and 300 miles for the battery electric version. Nikola wants to launch this pickup in 2022, however, as we previously have mentioned already, they do not have a factory yet, nor do they have any partner yet which would allow them to use one of their factories. So yeah, sounds totally legit to us. Especially the insanely high deposit sounds totally not shady. Now compare that to Cybertruck, which has at least one functioning prototype and only requires a deposit of $100, so 50 times less. So yeah, why anyone would want to put down $5,000 for this rendering here is absolutely beyond us. You will always have people depositing money for any kind of stuff, you know? So who knows, maybe Nikola finds 4 or 5 people somewhere on this planet who are super rich, bored, and want to desperately get rid of their money.
A much more legit sounding company is Lucid. We have often mentioned the Lucid Air because we think it's the only worthy competitor to the Tesla Model S in the works right now. Compared to Nikola, Lucid has working Air prototypes, the Air being the name of the Model S competitor. And Lucid is also building a factory at Casa Grande, Arizona. Now sure, we are not so happy about the backers of Lucid Air being largely funded by a Saudi Arabia investment fund. But then again, companies like Byton are not backed by the most friendly government on this planet either. Anyways, turns out the Lucid Air has a lower drag coefficient than the Tesla Model S, with a CD value of only 0.21 compared to the Model S's 0.23. The range of the Lucid Air will also be very similar to the current range of the Tesla Model S, namely around 400 miles. Of course, until the Lucid Air hits the market next year. The new generation of the Model S could already have an even higher range. But still, we have high hopes for the Lucid Air, because as we said before, it's really the only worthy Tesla Model S competitor right now. And we also prefer the exterior design of the Lucid Air to the Tesla Model S. It looks more modern and futuristic. The Model S design hasn't changed a lot since its release 8 years ago, and it's starting to get a bit dated. But of course, this is only our opinion, and taste is subjective, as you know. So Lucid is definitely a company to keep an eye upon, and we hope that they won't pull a Faraday future on us.
Compared to Byton, which apparently really is pulling a Faraday. In our last week's video, which you can watch right here, we already mentioned that it doesn't look too good for them. This is now basically all but confirmed, since Byton is shutting down operations for at least 6 months. Let's see if they also manage to somehow stay afloat like Faraday themselves, or if they will go bankrupt.
Regarding flying air taxis, we have this highly interesting exchange on Twitter. Elon saw the concept rendering of the Tesla Model V from Tom Abbott Davis, which we already showed a few times in previous episodes of the JS Disruption Report. Now Elon says the Tesla Model V looks pretty cool. We all know that Elon had often talked about electric supersonic VTOL aircraft, and we also said that we are pretty sure that Elon is planning something. The necessary battery energy density for eVTOLs just isn't there yet. But at the current rate of progress, we think that by 2030, battery electric aircraft will become viable, since battery energy density just keeps increasing. When we reach around 400 watt-hours per kilogram, better yet 500 watt-hours per kilogram, which should happen around 2030 based on the current progress rate, Elon might really start to work on an electric supersonic VTOL jet. Will it be under the Tesla brand, or will it be a new venture? We think that a new venture would be too much work. So at some point, Tesla might really expand into the aircraft industry, because the aircraft industry, as we often said, is in dire need of a brutal disruption. This industry is, together with the ship industry, probably the most complacent on Earth. Airplanes today are basically unchanged since 60 years now, which is frankly just absolutely embarrassing and pathetic. Therefore, we really hope that Elon will indeed release something like this here in around 10 years.
Elon was really on a Twitter rampage last week, but to complete it, he even updated us on Hyperloop. He said that the new longer Hyperloop test track is on track for the Hyperloop competition later this year. The track will be a lot longer, with 10 kilometers instead of the current very short one with a length of only 1.25 kilometers. So the new one will be more than 8 times longer. And it will also include additional bends to make it more realistic. In this new test track, the Hyperloop pods will be able to almost reach maximum speed. Not quite, but almost. The maximum speed will be around 700 miles or 1100 kilometers per hour. Reaching the maximum speed, however, would require a track length of minimum 9 miles or 14.5 kilometers. But still, this new track will be a huge improvement over the old one, and speeds of at least 500 mph should be doable. By the way, the current speed record is 288 miles per hour or 463 kilometers per hour, set by a team of the Technical University of Munich. Yes, the same Munich where we live. Beer, Brezen, but also Lilium Air Taxi and Hyperloop. Sometimes, not often, but sometimes, we are even a bit proud of Bavaria. So if you're new to this channel and doubt the Hyperloop viability, you can watch this video here.
So thanks for watching the JS Disruption Report, on every Wednesday. And I'd say, on to the future. Okay. Now the outros, Rose Gerber or Gerber or Gerber? No.
Past?